Hey guys, hey, I'm Filter CC, where I'm all about grit, grind, and greatness. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about, and it's not even the focus of today's video, but I always just be like, wisdom speak to me, right? God speak to me to give the message to the people. What are we talking about today? I ain't finna be up here just rambling. But one thing I learned to be true, when you invested in yourself, about every few minutes you just don't drop gems of wisdom anyway. You don't drop gems of knowledge, right? So that's why I say put the most time into personal development. Y'all already know personal development, motivation. That's my jam. That's what I'm all about. Grit, grind, and greatness over here. But I want to talk a little bit about ghosting or MIA, right? I've never been that person to just be a MIA. I always been pretty much transparent, cool, calm, collective, but at the same time, when I speak, I can speak in volumes, right? When I speak, I bring that truth, I bring that wisdom. And what I want to say is, for people, it's a lot of times, like I always been transparent, and I don't really believe in MIA. I'm the type of person, I don't play those kind of games to go ghosting people and miss. No, I tell you up front, straight up, right, face to face if need be. This is where I'm at with our relationship, and this is how I see things going forward. So I ain't never really left people in the dark. No, you know exactly what's going on. Because I'm gonna let you know what time it is, for one. I don't, and not to say that in, like, an angry way, right? Sometimes these are just mature conversations that need to be had, right? So that person, you ain't never got to be in the guessing with me, right? You ain't never got to be in the wondering. And did she ghost me? I don't believe in ghosting. I feel like, I'm not going to say that ghosting is immature, but to a certain degree, I gotta say it is, right? Because I feel like anyone that have, just matured and know how to be an effective communicator, it's either a lack of not being able to convey, or either they don't have the confidence, or they're either intimidated. I don't know what it is, right? That cause people, I'm not a psychologist, even though one of my degrees do have a lot of psychology. we did take we did learn about psychology, okay? But I want to say that, yeah, I feel like that's just a level of immaturity. I never really operated in that. I always been the type of person, people will tell you, honey, like from age of 7, 8, 10, she don't say the thing. She don't sit down and have that hard conversation, is what I say. And I don't really consider it hard. I feel like things could be, they are what you make them to be, right? So I always been, and not only that, like, it make things easier for you to have the conversation when people already know what it is, right? And here's my thing. I always respect people boundaries. Like, I ain't never been, I'm walking this way, guys, because I felt like the sun is doing the same. I'm going this way, but I see the sun doing the same. It's so bright today. It's kind of glaring. I'm trying to think if I turn, I can't even focus on that. I'm gonna have to put a filter on it, and we don't make it do what it do. The main thing, listen to the message though, right? Why I bring you this wisdom, and it's true. Like I was saying, when you just be straight up who you are, okay? Who you are, keeping it 100, 1000 with, that sun is bright in the back. When you keep it 1000 with whoever, they don't know, right? And here's what I've learned about any type of true a relationship, a friendship, any type of ship, any type of ship. This is what I want to say about that. If somebody true, if they, for one, I know that life goes on with or without, like, here's my thing. They're not God. I don't put people in the place. So I don't get nobody, you're not God. I can't put you in that place. So technically, you can live with them or without them. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to keep it on that level. So, knowing that, you want to have that conversation and respect people's boundaries. Sometimes I got a whole video. Matter of fact, when did I make that video? 2022? 2022? Yeah, I think it was 2022. On the tube. but I made a video talking about friendships and friends, a reason and a season, I think is what it was titled, a reason and a season. And what I mean by that is sometimes some things are just seasonal, some things are long term, some things are, whatever. Sometimes things are lifetime friendships, and knowing that, right? Not any ill will and anything like that. Some things are just with timely, but we're relating that the topic of what I said it was going to be the major topic. But we're talking about ghosting and going MIA on people that ain't never been me. Because I would have that conversation with you. Let's sit down, whether we're wherever, getting a cup of coffee, wherever, having that conversation. But the main thing I want to say with that is understanding a reason, a season, and lifetime friendships, right? And just understanding that. The other thing is, I always say what the guy had to say about that person. Not what society's saying. Not what nobody trying to push on you their opinion of that person. Or this is what I heard about that person. I don't go by that. I go by because the same thing, somebody could hear something about you, right? So you need a mature person is going to say, I'm going to try the spirit by the spirit, right? And not only that, and I ain't even going to say, that's good, but above all, what does God have to say about that person? And then from there, you base how have like going forward with that friendship. But the main thing I wanted to talk to y'all about concerning that, or to give my insight with that, when you are just straight up with people, people not wondering. They don't have to, and it creates a sense of security. They already know, like when they see you, this what they don't get. She really about that life, whether I'm in her life or not. You know what I'm saying? This is who she is. And that's what people need to know. They need to know you ain't turning on this ain't no game for you. This is your life. This is your purpose, your calling. And I know you like, well, see, we're not really talking about purposes and calling. We're talking about ghosting. And I get it, but I'm going to tie in your character, right? And I'm going to tie in your integrity and who you are overall. Because this is what I learned. When you're going through the good, the bad, the ugly, hell, and high water, I ain't gonna say hell and high water, but you get what I'm saying. When you're going through the good, the bad, and the ugly, then I want to say that whatever character show up then, that's you, right? And see, that's why I tell people, through the good, the bad, the ugly, you will only time will show. Time will show who you really are, right? And if you do have noticed some flaws that kind of show up, and this is what I say too, one thing is having integrity. If you are in a financial crunch, right? When you tell people, when you say, it's a place in the word that talk about keeping your word even when it hurts, right? And I'm not talking about, I ain't gonna say in an extreme way, but in a healthy way. You get what I'm saying? To say like, you know what? This person actually really sacrificed and helped me do X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna get coffee all week this week. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna treat that person out. I'm gonna let that person know I'm going to, X, Y, Z. I'm gonna work on repaying. I'm gonna work on whatever it is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and not only that, when God send the blessing, and that's one thing God know about me. He know he can trust me with the blessing. He can trust me because he already know. If I bless Cece, first of all, she taking them coins into the storehouse. What do I mean by that? She paying her tithe, honey. She paying her tithe. She don't play. God don't play about me, and don't play with him and his money. All right. Anywho, and everything else, she don't work out from there. But anywho, I was saying I'm tying integrity into this because that shows up too, right? That shows up when people, ghosting, or when they going through, certain things. Some people, when they go through certain things, they like to be by themselves, or they like to, they cut. I ain't never shut the world out from nothing. I know that there's power in communication, right? I know that a lot of times people get their breakthrough, and I don't believe in isolation, right? I feel like isolation is not healthy. I feel like, not even feel like, I know, right? I know that we thrive with the right people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't asking you to settle. And there are some seasons where you do be like, well, see, it's been just me and Jesus. I get that too, right? Because sometimes it is through the solitude of you knowing. And I do believe it's power in being able to sit by yourself. You know what I'm saying? I do believe it's power in being able to just have some time with you and God, and to be able to develop. You get what I'm saying? Like, to be able to develop. I guess I can give some of my tips and my insight. For one, if people do ghost you, I feel, just know it's a lack of immature, like they haven't matured, or they haven't, it could be a few things. One thing it could be, it could be because they, like, for one, I ain't never, like, I'm not a needy person. I don't talk to, I'll tell you, I don't hardly talk to nobody every single day. I mean, unless you Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Unless you God, unless you God. That's the only thing. He ain't no person. So, outside of that though, and I do understand, people be like, well, I have teams, I have my tribe, and I have to talk to them, and they do some Monday through Friday stuff, or some of them do 7 days a week, you know what I'm saying? Some of them do 3 days a week, whatever that is for you. I can't tell you what that is for you, but one thing I can tell you is not to take it personal if somebody is not available. Like, and matter of fact, I had to learn that even in my 20s, when I would have friendships that, if I didn't immediately respond, honey, I don't have a man. You get what I'm saying? And even if I had a man, I ain't even gonna allow him to be talking about an immediate response unless it's an emergency. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you get that to a certain degree. But yeah, like, I don't like that control factor. If you even come in with some mess like that with me, thinking that somebody got to be, babysitting their phone and watching their phone every day, like, nah, that's a bit much. You ain't God, right? You not God. You don't need to have, nobody ain't got to be checking in with 50 times a day. I have a son, right? My son would tell you. I taught him, what they say, teach them how to do their thing, right? And teach them how to, what they say, teach them how to fish instead of giving a fish, right? And they'll never go hungry. Teach them how to fish. So, yeah, like, that's what, and creating those healthy boundaries. So, and not only that, I feel like it teaches others, like, to create those boundaries, because some people, they don't know that. They've been around people that's been needy their whole lives. They've been around people that's clingy, and not secure in themselves. Like, I don't have talking to somebody every single day. Like, I didn't even really play those games in my 20s. I won't play them in my 30s, right? And not to say that you got to say that in a mean and angry way, but it's kind of like, hold on. If I'm working, you got to think, y'all. I was working 2 to 3 jobs, trying to buy my first home in my 20s, trying to get these degrees, putting my son through like grinding from sun up to sundown, 12 hours, 16 hours. I got plenty of videos already on that. So I really didn't have time for no mess. I ain't even have time for dating. So, I won't allow no female just to be in a friendship to be tripping like that, if I ain't have time for a man. But anywho, I said all that to say, so those could be a few things. They could be immature. They could not have the lack of communication. And some of them, that's all they know, right? That's all they know. They've been, around people that act like that, and that's been the standard for them. That's another video I do want to talk about too, setting a standard. I got a video, I think I got a short video. I think it's 5 minutes or less. Let me see, what year? Year 2022. I pretty much know exactly where my videos, when I made my videos. Even though I made over 1,000 videos, I still can pinpoint. I'd be well in tune. But anywho, yeah, like, that's their standard, and they really don't know how to create a standard. They say, well, this is what I've been around, and they make excuses. You get what I'm saying? Instead of making their own standard, instead of them saying, you know what, I'm an adult. At the age of 18, I had already figured out, honey, I'm gonna create my own life. Like, I don't care what nobody say, I don't care where I come from, and I don't care, like, what? It's gonna be what God says about me, and it's gonna be, and I'm smart enough not to say that in a cocky way. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't even like using that word, but I would say, I guess, in an arrogant way, to where I know that it's the God in me, right? It's God that helped me, that empowers me, that gives me strength to do what I need to do. Right? I always say it. I'll say it like I'll say it a million times. I'm nothing without him. So it really ain't about me. It's about me doing what I was created to do. But anywho, so yeah, those are some of the reasons why some people go MIA. Some people, they ghost. So don't really take it personal. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it personal when somebody don't immediately respond. And not only that, I want to urge you, if that is you, or you feel like somebody have to have a meeting. I understand if it's an urgent situation. You get what I'm saying? I know that sometimes people are going through, they may be going through a serious situation. You know what I'm saying? And they really do need somebody there. They really need to reach out to people, maybe once a day or, twice a day. And that's real for them, right? And if God, I know I need you to be that person for them. But even with them, you still kind of point them in the right direction and give them the tools so they can come out of that situation, so they can overcome, so they can navigate that situation, whatever that situation is.